everybody. Good Sunday morning. Top of the morning to you. You know, writing at this age, 70, it's not only something that's artsy or poetic or nothing like that, but at my age, it's also like a crossword puzzle. It's a brain twister a lot of times, because coming up with words, if you're a person where words are important to you, when you write, and at this age, at my age, I hate to belittle the point, but sometimes we'll have a thought and we're like, who was that? So it puts the brain into like a crossword puzzle search or whatever. And like this morning on this post, I mentioned Dr. Wayne Dyer. And for the life of me, I'm like, who was that? I'm trying to think of his name. And so it's that. So and also I do it mainly a lot of times for that search of words. And like this morning, I had nothing to write really. I just come sit down out here and just nothing's really happening up here. There's like not a lot of passion about it or something, but it doesn't mean it doesn't have an effect. Still, a lot of times years ago in preaching, there was many years there were services where I'd have absolutely nothing. The bucket was empty. You just go on and do it anyhow. So anyhow, this morning's post, y'all, is on this Sunday, the Lord's Day, May 24th, 2026. I got my mic on. See, I'm 70. I have to look at stuff like that. Double check. I tell you what, you get to a certain age and you just can't lay stuff down anywhere. You have to have a system where you put things where they're supposed to be, and that way you can find them. But anyway, go on, Eddie. I got a coif this morning, don't I? Look at that. Need a haircut, y'all. Go on. On this Sunday, the Lord's Day, May 24th, 2026, the city seems kind of dead this weekend. I guess a lot of people in Atlanta head to the beaches on Memorial Day weekend. I know years ago I used to, for years and years. Ava and I got showered and prettied up last night and went out to dinner over at No Mas, a Mexican restaurant over in what I call the Peter Street area. I think it's called Castlebeer Hill area now or something, where the Gulch and all's being, it's just all kind of chaos and building going on here in Atlanta. So we hadn't been over in a while. We fell in love with this place, Sombreros over here in Hapeville. We love Sombreros, but we love No Mas also, and so we went over. Wanted to get out of the house, get prettied up, have a reason to take a shower and put on some jeans, and so yeah. And it was kind of dead in there, which we got there about 7 o'clock yesterday evening, which is kind of dinner time for a lot of people. And the place is pretty huge. And it's kind of like they brought her food out in like 5 minutes. It was like nobody else was hardly out there. But anyway, we love No Mas. They got good food. The two guys that own No Mas, gay. I love supporting gay-owned businesses. The two guys that own it come into the shop and have over the years. And last time they was in there, a few months ago, I was at the counter, and we just got to talking, and we was talking about all the restaurants around Atlanta that's gone out. Agave and Daddy D's and Eats, and it just goes on and on and on. All kinds of restaurants are closing around Atlanta because rents are so high. And they said if they had not bought their building, which they have a big, pretty nice building over there, said if they had not bought their building years ago, that there's no way they could stay open and pay the kind of rents that Atlanta requires now. I told them the same thing about the shop, that if we had to pay somebody $8,000 a month to rent that corner building with all the other expenses that go along with the lease, there's no way we could stay open as a little small print shop. Rents in Atlanta are crazy. Are we all getting used to living in the daily chaos of Donald Trump? Are we great again yet? I know I'm being sarcastic when I say that, intending to be. Are we great again yet? Here we got Cuba in a mess, and Iran in a mess, and Venezuela in a mess, and Ukraine in a mess, and oil prices are ridiculous, and now they want to do $2 billion in reparations for the January 6th insurrectionists. It just goes on and on. There's no end to it, is there? You know? It's pathetic, really, y'all. If you think about it, it's just pathetic what the people who voted for that son of a bitch has done to our nation. We are about to head into the throes of summer. People will gather in houses. No, I lost my place. Back up, Eddie. We are about to head into the throes of summer. I just wanted to throw the word throes in there. A Georgia summer, that is. Hot, humid days and nights with sweltering heat. The damp breeze out here this morning sitting in my garden with Boom Boom and Gracie. It's just a little prelude before we hit into those sweltering months that's ahead of us. Today is a spiritual day for many all over the world. People will gather in houses of worship by the millions all around earth today. There seems to be very little excitement in the Christian movement in America nowadays. Christianity used to be fun. It used to be exciting. It used to be you had a who's who of everybody out there in the Christian battlefields fighting Satan and healing people in wheelchairs and putting on TV shows and big, But today, Christianity seems really bored, don't it? Bringing in the sheaves, bringing in the sheaves. I never did like that song, never did like it. Today is a spiritual day around the world for many. There seems to be very little excitement in the Christian movement in America nowadays. Gone are the days of the big-time evangelists who used to come through cities with big gospel tents or fill up auditoriums by the thousands and put on a gospel show. Sammy and I went and saw them all at one time or another. Ernest Ainsley. I even went 2 or 3 times to see old Ernie with his toupee stuck on his forehead. Thou dumb spirit, come out. I liked it. I don't know if I believed it back then or not. They said he was a homosexual. That made me like him a little bit more, but I don't know. Closeted homosexuals are kind of creepy too. I don't know, y'all. I don't know. All these famous preachers had all these sex scandals. Sex. What is it about Jesus and horniness? Did they just walk hand in hand? Yeah, preachers just, they're just like for John 3:16 said, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, that whosoever shall believe on him, and then they're like, ooh, I'd like to tap that. It's just weird, isn't it? Eddie, you ought to be ashamed of yourself telling the truth like that. Yeah, they'd all come to town. They'd fill up auditoriums by the thousands. Jimmy Swaggart had good music, though. He had good music. John Stearns and that other lady, boy, they could sing too. Poor Jimmy was a freak, wasn't he? Wasn't he freak? Had that woman meet him in that motel room down there, and met her so often. Some other preacher got out there and sat in the parking lot and took pictures of him and that woman coming out. You know what was disturbing about that when I read about all that? That woman said that she had a 12-year-old daughter, and she said Jimmy tried to get her to bring her 12-year-old daughter. My God. And they're on stage preaching, and they want to have sex with children. Good Lord. Seems like we come full circle with Donald Trump now. The evangelicals of all them, they went and elected a president who is obsessed with young girls. Oh, Eddie. Yeah. And then we went through that stage where Joyce Myers and T.D. Jakes and all them, they'd run these 3-day events, come to Atlanta and fill up the Georgia World Trade Congress Center or whatever, and TD would put on 3-day events of Woman, Thou Art Loosed. Yeah, and then bless his heart, Then it came out, all these other preachers saying he forced himself upon them and at P. Diddy parties. And I'm just, yeah. He needed to be loosed, didn't he? Come out of him, Satan. Well, you know what? Ernest Angel should have went to T.D. Jakes before he died and grabbed him by the head and said, "Come out of him, Satan." Didn't we love the church lady? Said, "Well, who could it be? What else we got going on here? Satan?" Oh, my God. Has Trump exposed Christians in ways that all the snake oil salesmen in years gone by never were able to do? Because a lot of people's, a lot of our suspicions are true. Anyhow, Eddie, go on. At least many of them knew how to put on a show, I would say that. Do you all know that even one of the greats, my favorite, I love Dr. Wayne Dyer, along with Oprah, were deceived and bought in hook, line, and sinker? John of God, that guru down there in Brazil, who's now in prison for raping all those women in Brazil that he put under his spell or whatever. Any of us can buy. We all want to believe, y'all. We want to believe. If there was somebody up here, saying, I'll pray for the sick and raise the dead and cast out devils, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. I want to believe. Good Sunday morning, everybody. Because you know what? When any of us face the time where our body is failing us and the doctors have done most all they can do, we want, at least for me, I want somebody to lay their hands on me and say, "In Jesus' name, be healed, rise, and be made whole." I want to believe. I want to believe there's always a possibility of a miracle, of somebody who can connect in a way in spirit world to speak to humanness and bodiness. Anyhow, good Sunday morning, sweet people. The week ahead, I will get things done. I'm just speaking these things out for me. And I'll speak them out over you also. I will get things done. I will be in sync. I will be present. I have to remind myself that a lot of times. Even sitting out here this morning, Eddie, be present in all this, in this video, in this moment, in this morning. Feel this damp breeze. See all the greens and the yellows and the oranges and the reds blooming all out in the yard. I will be present. I will eat healthier. I ain't been eating that healthy lately. I will drink water, more water. I will be open to possibilities, to God. That's all. That's all this morning. Nothing going on over on this side of East Point. Just sitting here on Memorial Day weekend having my coffee. Sitting out here listening to the water and the birds. Waiting for Ava to get up out of bed. Picture over on my Facebook page is me at the gas pump. Good Lord, y'all. Good Lord. It's crazy, isn't it? Anyhow, that's it. That's all. See y'all.